Hello Anatoly. Could you give a short introduction about who you are and what you do?
Hello Niels, I'm Anatoly Kondratenko. I'm working for Starbucks 2000 Resorts as a developer. My job is to find a place for a new hotel, to find a person who is going to build a hotel, and to negotiate with that person the management of franchise terms, because we are international hotel company, one of the biggest, and now with Marriott, the biggest in the world.
So yeah, a lot of places, a lot of new people.
Yeah, 110 countries, 5,700 operating hotels, another 1,000 in pipeline, so quite a number.
Yeah, mine. Which differences did you notice between living here and living in Russia?
Generally, Belgium is quite a comfortable country to live in. So all the living is not that expensive, I would say, compared to other parts of Europe. A bit more expensive than in Russia, definitely. But generally, the social security is a big thing, and you're really feeling quite secured with the insurance which we are getting. I have 5 kids, and obviously that's very important for me. Yeah.
But you said that it's not as expensive here as in other countries in Europe, but mostly people do have the idea that it's quite expensive to live in Belgium.
If you compare to developed capitals of Europe, it's really not, especially the living, the accommodation, the housing. The housing here is very, very affordable. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice to know. In your experiences, which languages are most profitable to know in an international context if you want to work international?
Definitely the traditional language to know if you work today for an international company is English. That remains and will remain for our life, I think. The other one which just popped up, especially for hospitality industry, I am sure for some others as well, is Chinese. Chinese are traveling around the world in the numbers which are bigger than any other nation. Yeah. So 100 million.
Cameras.
Yeah, their cameras. Yeah, just they're beating Japanese of early whatever it was 80s. So Japanese were traveling like this. So 100 million Chinese travel annually abroad as tourists.
Belgium.
Exactly. But that's the number. So it's actually what 8% of the population of China travel abroad to see the world.
And a lot of languages like Spanish and German are one of the examples too. Or is it beneficial to know? Yeah, of course it's beneficial to know them both.
Definitely. Anyway, that depends on the region you work. To work in Latin America, definitely you would be a great benefit to know to speak Spanish or Portuguese. Yeah. To German is a bit less geographically expanded, but if you work for a German company, that's I think a must. But generally, if you work as an expat in a country, that's definitely a must to know 10 to 15 words in the language of that country. Especially if that's the country with not the main spoken and known languages like Belgium with Flemish and French, but if it's something like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Africa, you have to know a couple of words in the local language to break the ice.
What are the difficulties that occur when you're working abroad, when you have to come here?
The most difficult part, I think, that you are disconnected from your not immediate family. Obviously, my family is living here with me, my wife and my 5 kids. But parents of my wife and of myself and friends, that's something you really miss.
And how do you keep contact? Do you go back often or do you Skype?
It's obviously the communication today with all these Facebooks and Viber and anything, WhatsApp, and that's now allowing you at least to keep all the news hot among yourselves. But obviously sometimes you have to sit down and drink a beer, right?
It's always better than the screen.
In that sense, I'm lucky because I'm still in charge of that region, and I often visit Moscow, and I have a chance to sit down with my friends and have a drink.
What to you are the differences between working here or in Russia or another country, because you could work in other countries too? What are the main differences?
With years, these differences are basically all eliminated, because working for an international company in Moscow, I worked for Starwood 6 years in Moscow, and now I'm here for 3 years, and it's all the same. So, international companies of today, they are transborder, they are big. The number of employees in Starwood only is 182,000 employees. It's kind of a number of highly qualified employees throughout the globe. So that makes them very powerful.
So if you stay within the same company, the cultures don't change much.
In the same company, no even question, it's all the same.
Yeah,
it's
so
copy-paste. Yeah. So the difference starts when you open the door and step out to the street.
Yeah.
And then only you notice, okay, I'm in a different country. I'm in Dubai, or I'm in China, or I'm in Africa, or I'm in North America.
Okay. And also probably if you go to another country, like if you change of country, the company culture changes, and then there might be changes.
Yeah, the corporate culture doesn't change. The local office culture does change.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we discussed about drinking tea with some sweets, or going out for a beer here, or just that's something little thing that changes. But generally, the way you do your job is absolutely the same.
To that, living abroad, what was your most shocking experience? You've said you've worked in Kyrgyzstan and in Belgium.
So the most shocking experience in Kyrgyzstan was when I came there, and after a couple of months I had my toothache, and I went to a doctor and just complained, and I opened my mouth, and what the doctor did to kill the nerve in the tooth, he just put a little fire in my mouth, and I was really shocked with this, and I immediately called my friends. I couldn't communicate via iPhone because iPhone didn't exist at that time. It was 15 years ago. But immediately said, you know what, he put a fire in my mouth, but the funniest thing that it helped. So this procedure helped to fix my pain.
You'd think the doctor was nuts, but it actually worked.
He knew what he was doing, for sure. Another experience here in Belgium, the first kind of, I would say, shocking experience, but a bit in a different way, was when my wife came here pregnant, and we had to deliver the baby, and I signed the contract with the hospital, which was about 4,500 euro, and we delivered the baby, and I was still waiting for the invoice. Invoice never came. It never came until now, actually. But obviously I understand that insurance paid it, but for me it was another positive shock.
Because in Russia you probably have to pay the invoice already.
Yeah, normally they ask the money in advance, otherwise you deliver the baby and run away with the baby. So
in Belgium it's insurance that takes. Yeah,
insurance here, social security here is really amazing. Another shock here in Belgium was also kind of, even I'll show you something and just. You know what it is, right?
Yeah, that's for recycling, the garbage bags.
Yeah. So, and do I need to explain that was a shock for me that I have to separate all these things the way they do in Belgium? So
for us it's not a shock, it's a habit. So
yeah, but
it's for me it's surprising that it's been a shock to you.
It was not a shock to learn how to separate things, but the shock is when I got this sticker on the bag which I put outside of my house, and in the morning I see that the bag is not picked up and I have just noticed. Luckily not a fine.
But you thought you'd already recycled it good enough, and then it was not good enough.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I did wrong, and until now, after 3 years in Belgium, I still sometimes suffering. I still find my bags not picked up, and this sticker actually is from 3 weeks ago. And no local colleague in the office could explain to me what I did wrong, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but that was another kind of a bit of a shock.
You should bring your garbage bags to work, then you could see what you did wrong.
Exactly.
So, as a conclusion, what would be a golden advice from you to people who want to work abroad?
The golden rule is just be motivated. When you come to work in a different country, normally you come on a contract. Yes. And you're well protected by your employer in terms of leaving and salary and security and insurance. The only thing you have to bring with you is the good attitude to any surprises around you in a different place where you're going to live for several years.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was nice talking to you.
It's a pleasure, Niels. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with your
Thank
project.
you very much.